Ladies and gentlemen, if I may have your attention, please. On behalf of my classmates of the class of 1946, Phelps Junior High School, and all of the people who have preceded us and followed us through these august halls, I welcome you to the presentation of the 13th President of Winona State. I will at this time introduce the guests of honor who will serve as a consistory guard for the new president. President of Winona State from 1944 to 1967, Dr. Nels Monet, accompanying Mrs. Joseph Emanuel. President of Winona State, 1967, 1977, Dr. Robert Dufresne and Barbara Dufresne. President of Winona State, 1977, 1983, Dr. Robert Hanson and Helen Hanson. My high honor to present to you the interim president of Winona State, 1988-1989, our friend and colleague, Dr. John Galvin Kane and Marlene Kane.
At this time, I'd like to introduce and bring to the platform Dr. Robert Krueger, Chancellor of the Minnesota State University System, and Nellie Stone Johnson, a member of the State University Board, and my personal friend because she's the one who nominated me for interim president. Dr. Krueger and Nellie Stone Johnson. Next, I'd like to introduce and welcome to the platform the President of the Minnesota State University Board, Mr. Rod Searle, and his bride, Jane. Yes. At this time, I'll ask Dr. Robert Krueger, the Chancellor of the Minnesota State University System, to do the honor of welcoming the 13th President of Winona State University, Dr. Krueger.
Thank you, Jack. I want to say how much I appreciate the leadership that Jack Kane has provided during a critical time in the history of this fine institution. He has been a leader, a colleague, a friend, and a trustee of an extremely important institution to all of us. And I would like to take just this moment to have one additional round of applause for Dr. Jack Kane. It is then my high honor and great pleasure to introduce to you a man who has already made a mark in a higher education of this nation and to bring to Winona State University a man I believe has true greatness in him and will be one of the great university presidents of America. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Darrell Krueger and his wife Nancy Krueger.
I thought we might have some other speeches. You know, I can't tell you how excited I am. You can only imagine, I guess, if you have anticipated something most of your life, prepared for it as diligently as you can, and not unduly anxious, but waiting, hoping that a time might come. I commented today, do you know that this is the only presidency that I've applied for in the last 10 years? And now I stand before you. I would like to thank those people who have had confidence in me, and I'd like to thank those people who have trained me at my former institution, prepared me, I believe, to take on a significant responsibility like this. There are so many things that are important at the university. I am coming here to a healthy university. Before I agreed to apply, I looked into the condition of this university. I was told this was a fine university, that it had great potential, and that I could fit in. Now, many of you are waiting to see. I will tell you this, that I will be caring. I hope to have insight into solving problems that face the university. I hope to continue the great traditions of the university, to strengthen it in the ways that will the community, the faculty and staff, the region and the state desires it to be strengthened. Already legislation is pending that is significant. I hear that things are going well, that the St. Teresa campus will be funded to some degree, that the health and engineering building will be in the bonding bill. I'm thankful to those people who've got it that far. I'm look forward to a fall with football and volleyball and those other wonderful things that are important to a university. In addition to the preparation of the freshman week, I read about last year's and was very interested in that, and all the preparation that goes into that by the various people, the counselors, financial aids officers, the registrar, and other people who work so diligently in student services. The housing people prepare. Housing is so important to the learning environment of the university. And then to come to a place that has the quality programs that you have in the nursing. It's dangerous to name these because I don't know any that aren't quality. The paralegal program I've heard about, the elementary education program, the computer science program, business, and of course the liberal arts. I'm look forward to working closely with the interim president, who has served you so well, who has an institutional memory, a commitment, and it's so important to have that when you come into a job. Someone in the press conference asked the question, what are the first problems you'll solve the first 2 months? And I said to them, the biggest problem is me. So I hope to solve that problem, meaning that I hope to get informed with the people and know the people, to meet with you individually, one-on-one, in the community, to help build that that unique program, a school that has the only program in the world, composite materials engineering program, you know that's a great thing. To help think about strengthening, serving the Rochester community, to serving the region. Now, I could have overlooked some things. I would be remiss if I didn't comment on the strong foundation that's found in this state, the respect for higher education, for educating the people. For a state board that works diligently as advocates, I am not used to having advocates for higher education at that level. That's a wonderful thing that you have, the state board that thinks so much of your interests. The chancellor and his staff, I've commented that I have grown in respect for him and expect that to grow. The university can only be strengthened as we build strong relationships with the people, both in the legislature and in the staff and in the community. And I hope that I will build your respect and your trust. Thank you for coming here today and meeting with us.
Thank you. This is always dangerous when you have a large audience to recognize individuals, but there are one or two individuals that I'd like to recognize that play a very important role in higher education in the city of Winona. And I'd like Brother Lewis, the president of St. Mary's. Brother Lewis, would you raise your hand? Welcome, Brother Lewis. I haven't had a chance to look through the audience. Is Sister Micaiah from St. Teresa's? There's Sister right here. And I don't know if Cliff is here from the AVTI, Cliff Kurtowski. Okay, he was testifying this morning on a bill. It's very nice to be here today, and I thought a lot about what I should say. First of all, I want to thank Karen and Mary. And then I looked for words to say in the farewell speech. I talked to Gavin Strand, I talked to Ken Siebel, and this is my speech right here. At this time, we'll start the reception. We'll have refreshments, and Darrell and Nancy would like to meet each one of you. And also, how about a round of applause to the young lady who is in charge of the entire organization today, Bonnie Woodford. Bonnie? I think at this time we'll begin our program and reception. We're here today to welcome the new WSU president to the WSU Rochester Center. I think the WSU Rochester Center 2+2 program serves as a state-of-the-art for the state of Minnesota. Winona and Rochester, Rochester Community College, Geraldine Evans, people like Herb Stauner, chairman of our advisory board, the Grout, the board of providers, we've all worked together, and I think we've seen our efforts this year. By working together, we've achieved excellence, and as I said earlier, this is really a state-of-the-art. At this time, I'd like to introduce to you the Chancellor of the Minnesota State University System, Dr. Robert Krueger.
Thank you, Jack. This is obviously a very, very proud day for us, and we're delighted to be here in Rochester to share that day with you. I want to introduce to you just two people that are with us here today. One of is the president of the board of the Minnesota State University System, somebody I think almost all of you know, Rod Searle. And the only person on our board that makes Rod look like a kid, Nellie Stone Johnson back here. This has been a long and arduous process, and maybe some of you who followed the events of the search committee have understood a little bit more about what it takes in an academic institution to get leadership and to get a president. I want to pay particular tribute to the person who's going to introduce the new president, and that is the person who's represented the Rochester community so ably throughout this whole search process. Sandy Keith took this assignment at a time in which he was taking on another very significant new assignment in his life, and in spite of the challenges of serving now on the Minnesota Supreme Court, he continued to be an active and aggressive, and I mean aggressive, member of that search committee. And for that aggressive behavior, we're deeply grateful. He provided a different kind of perspective to the debate and discussion, and I think that was healthy for us. It was healthy for Winona State University, and surely it's been healthy for this institution as well. So to introduce the new president of Winona State University, Sandy Keith.
Thank you, Dr. Crothers. This is a great honor. I tell you that never will I go on another search committee. I want you to all to know it's worse than picking Protestant ministers. I mean, let me just say, the Chancellor's office does a wonderful job. It's not easy to do this, and they've got all these rules and regulations, and you have to protect people. It was a great learning experience for me, and we had a marvelous committee. There were 19 of us, so covered everything. We had 3 from Rochester. We had 7 teachers we had from the university. We had a number of local people, administrators, and we started back in October. And as you know, we were attempting to replace a very remarkable man, Dr. Stark, who died suddenly. It was very terrible event, and so it's been a long process, and we're now reaching the climax, and so I'm delighted to be here. I like to see the mayor. I better say few words. Dr. Krueger, we do have awfully nice people in this town, despite what you might have heard, Politically a little more conservative than I am, but they think I'm conservative. We've got Rod Searle, as you know, has been Speaker, was a representative of the House for 22 years. Speaker, one of the really great political leaders of this state, has been head of this board. This is an enormous job. They're also picking a new one up in Metropolitan State at the present time, and with him is Nellie Stone Johnson, has been one of my political mothers for about 50 years. She's 83 years old, sharp as a tack, and as the common sense. You got to know her, and if you're ever on Nicollet in the mall, she's got her little shop there, and stop in. You still got it, Nellie?
Yes, I have.
Good. Well, she's a great lady of this state, and we're pleased to see Dr. Evans here, who's done so much, and Carol Lund and all the other educators that are here today. Well, I met Dr. Krueger. I'll never forget it. We were in the St. Paul Hotel a few weeks ago. This whole process is you whittle it down, and I was enormously impressed from the very minute I talked with him. You might be interested, he graduated, he grew up in southern Utah, and he graduated from Southern Utah State College. He was co-valedictorian, summa cum laude, the highest honors. He Phi Beta Kappa, and he went from there down to the University of Arizona. Of course, he was in government. That kind of, that made me feel good right off the bat. He's always interested in political life, politics, government. And he went down to the University of Arizona in Tucson, where he met his wife, and a marvelous lady, and got his PhD. He's been at this Northeast Missouri State University, and he's been there 17 years, and he's done every job in that university except being president of it, and he's been there since he was 30 years of age. And let me just read my notes from this interview, because I think they say better than anything I could possibly say. He's an educator. He believes in quality education, and there is a difference, He believes that American young people really aren't working hard enough, and they ought to be able, and they should be working harder, especially in higher education. He basically wants to give the students at Winona State a quality education, which I think they're getting, and I think they will continue to get. To do that, all of us are going to have to work. He's committed to quality education, and he's been at a school which has increased educational standards each year for over 10 years. He has a marvelous family. He's stable. He's going to be able to fit well into, I think, our southeastern Minnesota life. He's ready. He's ready to be a president, and that's a very critical, step to take. He's been a vice president for over 17 years. He's done every critical job there is in administering a university. The school has over 330 full-time teachers, 6,000 students, and he's ready. And he understands the benefit of the Rochester campus to the development of Winona State University. Obviously, his first responsibility is to Winona and the development of the college in that area, but he knows the importance to Rochester and how critical this little link is to the higher educational development of our people here in this area of the state. So it's a great honor for me to introduce Dr. Krueger, who is here today, and I thank you very much, Dr. Krueger.
What can I say after such an introduction and from such a powerful speaker? I do have a need, though, to bring my other half up here, because I'm told so often that I'm not complete without her, and you know that this is, she is my most sterling quality. I don't know where she is now. But I hope you get a chance to meet my wife. And I wish she was up here standing by me.
She's coming.
She's coming, okay. She'll never forgive me for this.
Keep reeling her in.
Oh, Nancy. I was thinking that I don't have a contract yet, but maybe there's a need to be president, even when you've just been appointed president. And so I thought that maybe I would review, you know, some of those pressing needs that the institution has right now. And I guess you could, with us, we have a bond issue that has a building that we need. One of the things that attracted me to this institution was that composite materials engineering program. The only one in the world. You don't get to go to an institution that has the only program every day. But we need a building. I read last year that there's 26 students that had to leave the university. They came for the program but didn't get it. We need the program, and we need that building. We have that program now. It's been funded by the legislature and so forth, so we need the building. And of course, we have a need for that additional money for the St. Teresa campus. How important St. Teresa is to Winona, and anything that could be done there to support that would be important. We need to raise some money so that we can expand that. The other reason that I came primarily to this institution was because of Rochester. And I've said this in every setting that I've been in. You could cross-check if you wanted. Rochester, an international resource. And what other regional university has Rochester? Can you name me one? No, Winona has it. And what does that mean for us? It means not only that we can serve you and have the need to serve you and gain your respect and thus enhance the community, if possible. And I've heard that that's possible, and there's a need here, otherwise we wouldn't be here. But you can strengthen the learning that takes place, the people that are here, the renowned people. It could be, could maybe even take some talented students and work with them, and it could be use them in their research, undergraduate research and so forth. And we can use them obviously as lecturers and so forth. What a great resource. I don't think I know of all of ways that you can be a resource here. And with the IBM plant and other just terrific resources that are here. It's a humbling experience to be a president, to be nominated for it and be selected. You know, this is the only one that I've applied to in recent years. And to send your application in and go through the search process and then be picked, you know, you wonder, well, what other opportunities are available to you? But I stayed at the former institution, as you heard, a long time. All my family was raised there. They know no other place. But now we want to stay here. We want to be effective here. We want to enhance this area of the state, to make it better if possible. And I feel that's, if I have a mission in life, that's what I think it is, to enhance the education in this country so that it undergirds and the democratic society that we live in and makes us economically competitive. I appreciate this center. I have great aspirations and expectations for it. Now, don't expect me to name them. I want to help you with your dreams. Thank you for welcoming me today.
You can see the selection committee made a good choice. At this time, I'd like to have a fellow administrator, one who during the year has given me guidance and sometimes direction, Dr. Geraldine Evans.
Greetings, everyone, and on behalf of the Rochester community and the whole RCC staff, I want to extend a very, very cordial welcome. I'm looking forward to working with you, and I'm looking forward to the relationships that we have with Winona State University. I want to also look around the group and welcome all our friends. I think of several very fine events, and all of the same faces are here at each of these. And that's wonderful because it really says you support both Winona State and Rochester Community College, and we really appreciate that. Dr. Krueger, I think you're going to find that the 2+2 experience is going to be one of the finest experiences you're going to have. I think that very few times in the career of a college president do you come upon such a win-win situation. And I've really been excited about it. It's good for Rochester. We needed it. It's very good for Winona State University and good for the people of southeastern Minnesota. And therefore, whatever we do with it to make it better is truly a win-win situation. I think also you'll like the people of Rochester. And I have found that one of the best parts of working here is the support of the community. When Chancellor Krueger was new, we were telling him about that. And let me tell you just a little story about that. When he first came down, we would have meetings about the 2+2 and the success of this and so forth. And I noticed that when discussions got to big decisions, he would sort of slip out. We'd struggle with these, and then he'd come back refreshed with this brilliant response. It was disgusting. And just everything would work out. I was wondering where he was, and finally I had the opportunity to find out. He called me one day, and he said, Jerry, I'm going over my phone bill. And he said, I have to confess something to you so we get this straight. He said, I'm in the habit, when decisions get really tough, of going out and calling God, the big man upstairs, and getting some advice. And he said, so I did this. Remember when I left the meeting? And I said, oh, yeah, and you came back with that brilliant answer. Well, he said, that's what happened. And he said, I was noticing on my phone bill that the other calls, you know, from all the other places are $30, $40, and it's a quarter. So it must be on your phone bill. And I said, no, not really. I said, I think that's right. See, from Rochester, that's a local call. I think that illustrates how we feel about Rochester, and I hope you find that's what you think, too. Bye now.
During the year, I had the opportunity to attend meetings with the Board of Providers, and during those meetings, I developed a working friendship with a young lady who represents the University of Minnesota. She serves as the chairperson of the Board of Providers this year, and what I liked about her, we had similar administrative styles. Carol Lund. Carol?
First place, I don't know how to top Jerry. In the second place, I'm not sure I'm so young. But on behalf of the Board of Providers, I think that most of us had an opportunity to meet you during the interview process. We believe that Winona State is an integral and important part of our program here and the things that we're trying to do. Those of us who are not in RCC and Winona State kind of think that we may add a tiny bit to what has already happened here. And we welcome you to that challenge. There will be lots of opportunities for us to learn and grow and develop new things that none of us have ever thought about before. And we're probably going to need some directions and some thoughts and some wisdom from Winona, just like from the other systems and the other parts of the academic community. So welcome and join us.
Thank you, Carol. That concludes our formal part of the program, and now we'd like to have you take your time and have refreshments and meet Darrell and Nancy. Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you, Nancy. It's a great pleasure to work with her. She's really given a real strong boost to the whole Winona State presence here in Rochester, the 2+2 plus all the other things that are going on here.